can't imagine what was going through the disciples' minds when they had their Last Supper. We read about it in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and also in John, but John adds one little extra little bit there. But Jesus knows what's coming. The disciples don't really know. As they come to this Last Supper, this last time of eating a meal with Jesus, this last time when Jesus speaks into their lives before the cross. And as he speaks, and in that moment we see truly the greatness of God and the incredible thing that Jesus did for us. So in his mind, he's got the events that are coming, and he's got a group of disciples there that haven't really got a very high pass mark in many of the stuff they've been doing. And they're having a meal there, and he knows that one of them is going to betray him for a measly $30. And he says to them, well, he actually didn't say anything, he just did it. He took off his robe and he washed their feet and he served them, and he took the lowest position possible. He took that place of a servant, and he said to his disciples, I want you to do the same as this. And then they had communion together, or the Passover supper, as they called it. And he took a piece of bread and he broke it and he said, this is my body, which is given for you. And this is the cup. This cup represents my blood, which is also given for you. And he says this in the context of saying, I want you to go out. And he explained it a little bit more, and they understood a little bit more in the days ahead. And so it must have been quite confusing to them. Here he is talking about being a servant, and here he is doing the ultimate thing of humility and love and grace, and kind of went over their head a little bit. But in this moment, there's so much. There's the greatness of God, and there's the love of God, and Jesus' willingness to obey his Father and go through an enormous trauma. We can't describe it, but get an idea of it. When Jesus went out into the garden and he prayed, and the agony in those prayers. It all comes in that context of Jesus taking that lowest place and asking his disciples to do the thing and the same thing. And then Jesus went out and he actually did it. He gave his life as a criminal. There are 5 laws. The Jews are very, very particular about their laws. There are 5 laws that the Jews broke to make sure that Jesus died. And they had no trouble breaking those laws. And Jesus knew that they were breaking the laws. And Jesus knew the hypocrisy, but he still went on the cross. And here's this amazing time when Jesus is doing something, but he's also in the context of that saying, look after one another. Care for one another. Bless one another. Pray for one another. And the ultimate example of that was then immediately after asking the disciples to do what Jesus has done, and then go out and go through that mock trial and the crucifixion. I don't know, man, what a God, what a great God. So as we share communion now, as I just ask you to come to the front and take a piece of bread and a cup. And if you're not If you're a visitor here this morning and you're not in the habit of taking communion as we do it here, you're welcome to join in. If your children want to take communion, you're welcome to do that as a parent. You know what you can do. It's quite okay in this church with us. And so if you just want to sit, you're not quite sure, okay, that's okay too. Well, I just encourage you to come and take a piece of bread and a cup and go and sit with someone. Maybe it's someone in your family, maybe it's someone else. Maybe 2 or 3 of you come together and you eat the bread together and you take the cup together and you pray for each other in the manner and say, how can I pray to bless you? How can I pray to help you? So that in the context of Jesus giving his life and suffering on the cross, we are putting ourselves in a position to say, how can I help you, my brother? How can I help you, my sister? What can I do to bless you? How can I pray for you this morning? What is it that you are struggling with in your life? How is it that we can pray with you and surround you and say, we want to stand with you and we want to take that place and honor you and bless you and lift you up for the honor of Jesus. So if you'd like to come forward and take the cup and take a piece of bread and share it with someone. If you want to sit by yourself, no problem. We're not counting. I'm not going to stand here and watch. I just encourage you to take that attitude that Jesus had of a servant, that when he came to the cross, that's what he was doing. And he calls us to do the same. Father, as we share this together, I just pray, Father, that you will bring your presence to us in an understanding what you've done in your greatness and your goodness. And help us through your greatness and your goodness and the love to do and share that with others for your name. Amen.